What's up, everybody? So it's time for another guide, and I'm going with Bohemia. Now, Bohemia, at the start of the game, you are in a pretty advantageous position, but you're also going to have to make a pretty big decision at the start of the game. Specifically, are you going Hussite or not? I'm going to go into the advantages of both later, but I just want to point out, you need to make that decision now, because if you're going to start converting provinces, start doing it now. That being said, let's turn to the estates. All of this is stuff you guys have seen before. However, I do not pick up institutionalized clergy, where you get the Pope points if I'm going Hussite, and I'm going Hussite in this. The reason why is 15 Pope points, very useful. 10 church power, not nearly as useful. Instead of having this click, I would rather have this one. There's less cost to it, and it completes the estate agenda with also giving you some loyalty. So it's one of those, why would I take this click instead? The rest of it's pretty normal, but I did pick up strong duchies. I will pick up, because I forgot to grab it, the integration policy, because these guys aren't going to be too rebellious anyway. Taking my army, merging them together, I'm immediately going to hire the free company, and I'm going to drop their maintenance. No matter what you're playing, whether it's Catholic or Hussite, you're not expanding anytime soon. You can try and expand, but every bit of expansion you do is wasting manpower for the fights you should be having. So just drop your maintenance. It's fine. Other than that, let's talk about Hussite and Catholic, because Hussite is the weaker religion, in my opinion. Hussite gives you a couple of advantages, and I'll talk about them later. Catholic, however, is going to be better off for the Bohemian playstyle. The reason why is if you look through your mission tree, while you will get claims, you'll also get personal unions on quite a bit of people, and then down here you get diplomatic annexation cost. If you want to play the diplomatic annexation game, remaining Catholic and having this extra 10% is far superior than anything Hussite gives you. It just is. With that being said, play what you want, because you can do both. As far as your rivals, always rival Austria. The other two don't really matter that much. I'm going to pick up Hungary just because I can. And I'm going to ally Burgundy day one. Now that that's done, time to unpause and start working on my other people. It looks like you're not really a viable option. I could pick up Poland, but I don't want to pick up Poland. I'll pick up Bosnia. I'll pick up Serbia. And then I'll probably pick up the Teutonic Order or Wolgast. Yeah, I'll pick up the Teutonic Order, and that hits me at the maximum. At this point, I'm just going to sit back, wait, and get this alliance with the Ottomans. To get it, let yourself cap out on your improved relations, scornfully insult one of their rivals, in this case, Austria, once you've hit that cap, and then, if necessary, recruit more mercenaries until they're willing to ally you, or fish for a diplomatic reputation guy in here, and you should be able to pick up an Ottoman alliance. That will get you very, very, very far in this. So do not stop until you get that Ottoman alliance. With that, though, I'm basically going to simply chill for about a decade. My first mission here requires me to integrate Silesia, and I cannot do that until 1454, so I need to wait till then. With that being said, though, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. So as you can see, I have an event, and I wanted to talk about this. Being Bohemia and being the Bohemian elective monarchy, whenever you have a ruler take the throne, so in other words, your last ruler dies, or in this case, you get a ruler to get out of your interregnum. You have a choice. You can either keep them and gain some legitimacy. You can get a monarch with the same dynasty of your strongest neighbor, if they are also Christian, so you can try and get a personal union, or you can pick somebody in your own country. Unless you are desperately trying to keep a specific dynasty, use intelligence here on what you're picking. Like here, why would I not pick a 556? I could go with a von Habsburg if I really wanted to try and get a personal union, but I don't want to deal with that. I have other things I can do to Austria. So I will take the local noble. I should still end up getting my event that'll let me flip Hussite and replace this guy with Jan Hus. However, I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Or try to remember the guy's name. The guy that follows Jan Hus. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and keep waiting. I will see you guys in just a little bit. And welcome back. So I just got the Ottoman Alliance, which means I immediately need to turn around and start currying favors. I am going to go ahead and fire the extra mercenaries I bought, as well as this Diplo rep guy, because my income can't afford all that just quite yet. And, yeah, just, again, you're taking your time. You're getting ready to jump Hungary, and since Hungary almost always allies Austria, you want to be able to call in all of these guys to help you. If Burgundy is your big favor, and they don't want to attack Hungary for whatever reason, I haven't really experienced that, and I've done this like 30 times, then attack Austria. If they're allied. If they're not allied, then you shouldn't have any problem just ripping Hungary apart. That said, see you guys soon. And welcome back. So let's talk about Hussites. Now, obviously, I'm picking this one, even though it really, really pains me to lose a 5.56, because I do need to talk at least somewhat about Hussite. I still believe firmly that being Catholic is going to be easier for you to play because, first off, you get a increased opinion with other people, including your potential subjects and personal unions. On top of that, Hussite's just not as strong of a faith. While you get no clicks over here, you get them in here, and free stability is very nice. Increased diplomatic annexation cost reductions are nice. Manpower recovery, 10% morale, all of these are strong. Let's go ahead and look at Hussite. Now, obviously, you will, get an option to keep Podobrad, or you could just replace him. So, in this case, I don't want to replace him, so I'm keeping him for now. Now, Hussite faith. You get church power, just like the Protestants. However, you get different cliques here. Some of these are useful, like goods produced production is nice because you will have a gold mine here and a gold mine down here fairly quickly. However, it's only 5%. It's not massive. Stability cost reduction and clergy influence, that's useful. It helps you revoke privileges and it gets you cheaper stability. But it's nothing compared to a free stability click. Culture conversion cost, if you're doing that, it's great. But it's not that useful. 10% war score cost reduction, that's useful. That really is. That's a good one. Then you have yearly corruption reduction, which who cares? Harsh treatment cost, which is nice if you actually play into the age of absolutism. Extra manpower, which is still nice. But I think I would prefer the manpower recovery, to be honest, but personal opinion. Army tradition decay, which is fine. And then religious unity and tolerance of heretics, which is not great. And then finally you have improved relations and stability hit to declare war. I wanted to talk about pacifism in particular. I've seen people online that didn't understand that you can revoke these privileges. I could show you later, but once you select them, if you click here, you have the option to remove them. So what you do is, once you have everything filled out, and you have 200 church power, you can remove pacifism, declare your war, and then add pacifism back in while at war. And I'll be showing that later. And then finally you have the shock damage received, which a lot of people think is really strong for some reason. But again, if you recall, Catholics have 10% morale clicks that you can get very, very easily now. Because you have so much papal influence that comes in, you'll have cardinals generating even more. You should be fine to keep that up. Here, there is no combat thing in here, except for this 5% shock damage received, which is just not as important as morale. In the early game, it's nowhere near as important. In the late game, it gets somewhat more important, but then you'd rather be Protestant anyway because they have discipline and morale. So Hussite is probably the weakest of the Christian faiths, but you're not going to really play Bohemia unless you probably also want to play Hussite, so here we are. With that being said, I'm still working on the Ottomans. I'm improving relations with these guys. Once I start getting close to the Ottomans being willing to help, in fact, I probably am just going to do it now, I'm going to drop a claim on Hungary. Because at the end of the day, while this is a good mission to do because it will give you claims over all of this, you don't have to wait for that. You can just drop one claim on Hungary and take all of this, and then integrate these guys after you're done. So you can wait if you want. I'm not going to, because I don't see the value in doing so. With that being said, see you guys in a little bit. Oh, I just realized, obviously, do your mission here to drop the missionary maintenance, and what you're going to do is you're going to convert this province immediately. The reason why is you do need to dev push the Renaissance fairly quickly, and doing it here, it's a grassland province, it has glass. Once you have Renaissance embraced, this will usually flip to gems, which will make you a lot more money, so you want to dev push it hard and get it embraced. Obviously, take your text first. But, yeah. See you guys soon. And welcome back, everybody. So I flipped both of these guys to Hussite just because it gives you the opinion boost. Otherwise, you're going to have this negative opinion malice of neighboring a heretic, and it just makes it annoying to integrate them. You will have to help keep them loyal, though. Or, because I forgot, that's why I didn't grab it, not grab the nobility integration policy until you're just about done with them. With that being done, though, I have now enough favors with the Ottomans to go after Hungary, which means I should have generated enough with everybody else. Looks like I didn't with Bosnia. Oh, okay. Bosnia just doesn't want to join in right now. Well, too bad. Call for war. There we go. And it looks like the Ottomans don't want... Oh, they're fighting another war. Oh, they're still fighting Byzantium. Okay. I just saw them peace out Wallachia and I thought they were done, but apparently not. So I'll wait for the Ottomans to be done with their war against Byzantium. That shouldn't take very long. And then once that's done, I'm attacking Hungary, and there really shouldn't be any changes here. It looks like Austria has abandoned them. So I don't even think I need to have the Ottomans, so I'm going to go ahead and do this and take over Slovakia. With that being said, see you guys in a little bit. Oh, and again, I am going to be dev pushing up here, though the gold mine and pushing that up is also a priority, so pick which one that you think is more important. I usually focus on Rudori, because I want to get that moving towards spreading through my land first, because the gold mine, while useful, isn't that imperative, because I can always just get rid of these guys to balance my economy. That being said, see you guys soon. What's up, everybody? So for today, I'm giving away a CD key for Disco Elysium. If you want a copy of this game, leave a comment down below that just has the word Elysium in it, and at the end of the week, I'll pick one of those comments at random and reply to it with the CD key for this game. Obviously, anybody can see these comments, so make sure you have your notifications turned on. Otherwise, you might not even notice that you won. But with that being said, let's get back to the video. And welcome back, everybody. So this is what I'm going to end up taking. Taking all their money, taking war reps, taking out Slovakia. Now, Ottomans grabbed this, because I did end up calling them in, just because it made it easier. Less Hungarian troops running around to try and stack wipe me. If I could take this to release Transylvania, I would. Instead, I'd have to take 2 provinces, and I don't feel like paying that aggressive expansion. But you will have a different game than me, so have fun. In fact, I'm going to drop the money because it's not going to change much, and take an end rivalry against me as well, because it'll give me a little bit more prestige, and I would rather have the prestige at the moment. I'm still deving up everything, but for now, that should work. And then just drop the maintenance again, wait till I have 10 favors, and it's time to integrate these 2 guys. So I'm going to start the integration on that. Part of the reason why I wanted to piece that out as quickly as I did, as opposed to trying to take more or less or anything else. They were kind of at 100%, but I didn't want to bother with anybody else that they were allied to. I wanted to piece out so I can deal with these guys getting integrated, because then I can start moving down my mission tree. But once these guys are integrated, I'll bring you all back. See you then. Oh, I just realized I need to break the alliance with the Teutonic Order. Don't have one around this time. See if they have the Danzig event. If they survive the Danzig event for a couple of years and it's time to go in on Poland, you can try and re-ally them again. It won't be that difficult, because they can be very useful fighting Poland. You can get them in pretty easily. But if they have the Danzig event, you don't want to be called into that nonsense. So break it with them before it ends up happening. I'd do it before I did it, but at least try and get it done before that event could fire. That being said, see you soon. And welcome back, everybody. So I spent a little bit of time getting ready for this. I swapped out Hungary for Poland as a rival. That will allow me to complete the Polish diplomacy. And then if by conquering Nitra you have the one for Restoration of Union on Hungary, don't click this. Don't click this until you're actually prepared to declare. The reason why is if you click it and you get the Restoration of Union CB, and then they fall under Austria, you lose your CB. If they are personal union, you get permanent claims instead, which I know is not as useful, kind of, but at least you have something then. And as far as the Restoration of Union, you're going to have some difficulty getting enough opinion with him anyway, forcing him into one to keep him loyal. So claims might actually be more useful. So keep that in mind. That being said, though, it's time to go after Poland. So I'm going to go ahead and do Polish diplomacy, which will give me a personal union CB on Poland. Keep converting people, please. And then once I actually have it tell me I have a CB, which it should do now, I can come in here and call everybody in. But Burgundy won't help. But as you can see here, I do have a substantial advantage. Stettin should be knocked out fairly quickly and then turn. He's currently fighting Hungary, which means most of his troops are going to be tied up down here and fairly easy to pick off. But you shouldn't have much difficulty in this. If you're worried about it, try and pick up other allies that'll come in and fight him, like Brandenburg, Muscovy, Great Horde, somebody along those lines. You should be fine. But let's go ahead and declare. Now, I'm going to have to actually fight this one. I can't just let my friends handle it while I sit back and do nothing. But, yeah. And before you attack, make sure you improve relations. As you can see, I've already done 100. Because if you improve relations before you force somebody into a union, there's less improved relations you have to do after the war. It'll tick down during that time, but at least that way, there's less after the war you have to deal with. Now, in the meantime, I am going to continue to add church power. I haven't grabbed the improved relations one yet, because that is usually the one I get last. I'd rather have more war score and more manpower first. But once that's done, I can start showing you the swapping around, because at that point, I should have plenty of church power coming in. See you guys soon. And welcome back, everybody. So I didn't really have to do much actually, because the Ottomans are just running around, smacking them real hard, because Ottomans were a tech ahead. So yeah, that was incredibly quick and pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Yes, there will be a possibility of a coalition, but not much of one. And I'm taking as much money as I could. Now, obviously, I immediately need to go back in here and start improving relations, because, yeah, they hate me. But let's turn on improve relations, because that will help with that. And the Austrians did force a personal union on Hungary. Poland was still at war with Hungary during all that. They took this from him. And then Wallachia attacked him, and then Austria attacked him. So I am glad I did not take this beforehand, because now I would rather have those permanent claims, because otherwise I'd have had nothing. So, again, be sure you hold off and wait and see what happens, because, yeah, you want to. They did change the strong duchies in here to work with personal unions, so since I have both Poland and Lithuania, that will help get them loyal. But otherwise, just going to drop maintenance, pull my guys back, let them just chill out in Prague, while I improve relations with both of these guys, because I do need to get them loyal. I should have more than enough still in terms of improved relations to get Poland happy with me, but it is obviously still going to take a bit. Now, if the Teutonic Order at some point does have the Danzig event fire, so they have to fight it and they win, for whatever reason, if you attack them later and make them spit Danzig back out with all of its cores, Danzig just becomes a free vassal of Poland, which means you can get them into your personal union's vassal for free. No aggressive expansion. So if that happens, take advantage of it. Otherwise, you'll have them getting it anyway. With that being done, though, let's start improving relations and getting these guys happy with me. I will also use a war against Austria as a cover if I need to once I start getting close enough, because, yeah, I need to attack Austria anyway. But, see you guys soon. Oh, and I will point out, Austria did end up getting the Burgundian inheritance, because of course they did, which is fine. I'll just go ahead and make them spit them out or something later. But for now, they can have it. It's fine. See you guys soon. And welcome back, everybody. So it's time to go after Austria again. I did pick up France as an ally because why wouldn't I? And the Ottomans still hate Austria. Now, as I pointed out before, you will lose a stability if you keep pacifism on. Find pacifism, just click on it. You remove it. You come in here, you declare. I'm going for reconquest. And as you can see, we should be perfectly fine here. He's currently attacking Wallachia to get Hungary's cores back, but yeah, I don't think that's going to work out too well for him. Once I've declared, come back in here and just turn it back on. You don't really swap things out that often as Hussite, so you'll have 200 church power all the time. Like, it's really going to be very rare that you do not have the ability to swap this in and out. You'll be chaining a lot of wars if that's the case, which it still doesn't matter. So now that that's done, I'm able to rush in, take back these cores, take stuff out of Hungary, and move on. So I'll see you guys in a little bit because I just got to fight this war. See you then. Oh, I also want to point out, it is still a stability cost to declare war, so if you don't want to deal with that, you can take diplomatic ideas, because at the end, that is still a diplomatic action. So it'll let you keep the pacifism, but I don't think diplomatic ideas is necessary just for that. However, diplomatic ideas does have one other thing that goes for it, which is 20% minus war score cost, which stacks up with the 10% here, and then it stacks with the Age of Reformation bonus, which I don't remember how much it is, but we'll find that out later. So it does have another use for it. It's not worth going just to avoid having to swap out pacifism. But see you guys soon. And welcome back, everybody. So this war is over. I didn't even have to move my troops. But time to piece them out. I'm taking back all these cores. I'm taking all the stuff that I'm required to take for my mission. And I'm taking Graz. The reason I'm taking Graz is because I'm releasing Styria. And yeah, there's going to be a coalition. I'm not worried about it. Now, the one thing I will warn you about is that in the current patch, they made it so the vassals of the HRE Emperor will automatically add themselves as long as they have enough opinion and they're small enough into the HRE. Just automatically they do it. Which is annoying because that means you're going to get unlawful territory demands over here. But, I mean, it's just something you're going to have to deal with. It doesn't really cause that big of a problem, but there we go. Now I have permanent claims on Bohemia, or on Austria proper. And once I'm done coring this stuff up, I'm going to start building forts in this area because that is what's required for my next mission. Now it's time to focus on other things, though. Specifically, getting my aggressive expansion burned off. But then once that's done, it's taking people like Brandenburg and then Saxony. Now, if you keep doing what you're doing, and you're attacking into Catholic countries, as the Hussites, you're going to have increased aggressive expansion, not because you're Hussite, but because they're Catholic. In the aggressive expansion calculation, and I know I've done a guide on this, but I wanted to just give a brief outline of this, because I think a lot of people misunderstand it. There is an infidel increase, where if you are fighting into a different religious group, you get 50% more. You are Hussite, they are Catholic, you're both Christian, you're not outside the religious group. The thing is that you also get 50% more if the target you're taking land from is the same religion as the other person that's getting the aggressive expansion. So because Brandenburg is Catholic already, I will get increased aggressive expansion with all Catholics. Before you take Brandenburg, before you take Saxony, attack somebody that they're allied to. By doing so, you can take the opportunity to co-belligerate them if you want, and force them to become Hussite, and then go in and take them after the fact. because you're not on any kind of timed rush to get Brandenburg now. Though, if you click the missions, you will be. So once you have this mission done, don't click this until you're actually ready to go subjugate Brandenburg. So I'm going to instead use my claims bordering claims to go through and get to probably Magdeburg. That's only a couple of jumps, I think. That, or I'm going to have Poland get a claim on Stolp, and that way I can attack Wolgast, co-belligerate Brandenburg, force Brandenburg, become Hussite, and then go in on them later. Same with Saxony. Just take your time, use your time wisely, and try and get people to flip Hussite before you attack them, because that way you're taking significantly less aggressive expansion, and given the fact it's the HRE, that's pretty important. I'm also doing influence and innovative ideas to start off with, because their policy drops your aggressive expansion impact by 10%, and because of, right here, the advisor cost 20%, it's a 30% reduction in advisor cost, plus you get more loyal vassals, which allows you to deal with this a lot easier. With that being said, though, it's at this point just need to core this up. I'm eventually going to go back in on Austria and take over all of Styria's cores, work on Tyrol, then work on Burgundy, and take them out in actual Austria proper, because I have the cores. And then once they're no longer a great power, since I am, this is finished. You don't actually have to humiliate them. So if you have the opportunity to attack them and take more vital things, like Hungary's land, do that. Don't worry too much about making sure they're humiliated, because you'll get your mission done regardless. With that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and pause it because I still need to do other things. And oh, that's right, I did the mission already. I already have a claim on Wolgast, so I can just co-belligerate Brandenburg. And yes, this is a much bigger fight, but I should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to deal with that. But once that's done, I'll be ready to go, and I'll bring you guys back, and we'll worry about Brandenburg and Austria and everybody else. See you then. Oh, because I forgot to do it earlier, once you're done with Poland, and by the way, when you take Poland, switch your merchant over to improve relations with Poland. But after that's done, switch them over to establish communities in the HRE, so you're starting to burn off aggressive expansion in this area. It just helps it go a little bit faster, and honestly, you kind of need it right now. You're doing a lot of expansion, and a lot of it's with HRE territory, because of course Hungary now joins the HRE. So make sure you're paying attention to that. See you soon. And welcome back, everybody. So my ruler finally died, so I can show you this. Heretic King. Obviously, if you're staying Hussite, stay true to Christ. Yeah, of course you're going to condemn me. And if I want to keep this ruler, I can go ahead and keep him. Kind of like this guy. But I'll keep him, though I'm probably not going to keep this guy. But yeah, just keep going. I still haven't really done anything because this coalition just will not break. So I'm probably going to reload the game, just close out of the game, go back into it, and see if they're willing to leave the coalition at that point. I did pick up Bosnia as a free vassal, just diplomatic vassalize them. Serbia's a bit too large for that, so I broke the alliance with them. And yeah, Wallachia has no interest, though they are technically small enough. It's just going to be a real pain in order to get them happy with me enough, but I might try and just pick them up as a simple vassal that way too, because they might be willing to. But that is what my current state is. I'm still working on going after the Teutonic Order. Interesting. So it looks like Brandenburg doesn't have that easy vassal or easy ally anymore. So I need to instead get to, it looks like probably Magdeburg, or just attack them directly. That might be worth it too. So I'll figure that out, and I'll bring you guys back when it's time to talk some more. See you then. What's up, everybody? So because this video is so long, I'm giving away 2 CD keys here. I'm giving away a CD key to Road 96. If you want a copy of this game, just leave a comment down below of Road 96. At the end of the week, I'll pick one of those comments at random and reply to it with a CD key. As I said before, though, make sure you're actually keeping your notifications turned on, because if I give you the CD key and you don't notice and somebody else grabs it first, that's on you. With that being said, let's jump back into the video. And the Reformation has finally started. It's just, a couple of years late. When the Reformation starts, you have a choice. You either stay as Hussite and just continue along, or you flip Protestant. If you flip Protestant, your Center of Faith, Center of Reformation, flips to a Protestant one, all of your provinces flip Protestant, and now you are Protestant. The thing is that, again, Hussite is not a strong religion. These church powers, they're not great. They're really not great. But it's up to you on what you choose to do. Again, I would have stayed Catholic, but if you want to go the Reformation, you can also then go Protestant here, and it's definitely not a bad thing to do because you'll have that extra discipline, the morale. You have more opportunities. But I'm not going to because, again, I'm staying Hussite. But it's up to you, really. I know I keep saying that, but it really is. I'm not going to tell you how to play when it doesn't really matter. But you are making it harder on yourself staying Hussite. Just be aware of that. Because these people that you flip Hussite, they may not stay Hussite, they may become Protestant, which is still annoying. But the bigger important thing is that you can't be the League War leader. You are not Protestant. It means you still can't be the Emperor, which means you need to try and get religious peace. And religious peace is very, very annoying because the rest of your mission tree down here, it requires you to be the Emperor and have the perpetual diet enacted, which is this one. And with the religious peace option, you can't force other people in the HRE to be your religion without a war, which means you're going to get no imperial authority growth, which means the likelihood you'll ever get here is virtually nil. Which is one of the reasons why I recommend staying Catholic, because getting to be the Emperor, getting through here, getting this mission done, to get to peace in Europe, which is nice to have, is a lot easier if you could become the Emperor at the start of the game, whereas now it's unlikely I will ever be able to become the Emperor, and even if I do, it is really unlikely as Hussite to be able to finish my mission tree. I don't know why Paradox did it that way, but they did. So make your choice at the beginning of the game, obviously, but if you do go Hussite, if you want to play Hussite, I would recommend flipping Protestant at this point, just because that gives you at least a chance of finishing your mission tree. Now, that's not overly likely. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going because I got more to do. Oh, and I did pick up the Defender of the Faith. It's not a great Defender of the Faith, but it is an easy Defender of the Faith. And when you go in here, you do have the Head of the Reformed Church. This gives you an extra diplomatic reputation for being Defender of the Faith. Also, the other advantage of being Hussite, because they just added this in the current patch, down here you get +1 dice rolls anywhere in the world as the Defender. You have to be the Defender, but it is 1 extra pip for being Defender. Remember, you are the Defender on any of your forts, and on top of that, if you build a rampart, remember where they are, this also gives you +1 dice roll. Which means, if you really want to be just annoying, stay Hussite, build ramparts on all of your forts, and just use them to melt your enemy forever. With that being said, though, I do need to continue going. I'll see you guys in a little bit. And welcome back. As you can see, Austria's been dealt with because I have Burgundy. I'm even integrating Burgundy at this point because Burgundy lost all of its cores in the lowlands, which is fine. I'll eventually shove Austria's capital into the lowlands, and that'll probably prevent the Netherlands from showing up, but I'll go after the lowlands later. I just picked up an alliance with the Mamluks to go after the Ottomans, and for some reason, they're not actually rivals anymore, and the Ottomans are just kind of ignoring them. But yeah, I have a bunch of cores I can go back after, and I have a Spain as an ally, so I'm going after them. Spain is really pretty easy to ally. The question is are they going to be rivaled against anybody you've already picked up, like France? They weren't in my game. If they are in yours, once France is no longer useful, which they kind of are at this point, you can go ahead and get rid of France and then try and attack France yourself. But now is the time for me to go after the Ottomans. They're currently in a big fight with the Venetians, which, okay, that's fine with me. I'll use my guys as well as my own troops to beat them down. Whether the Venetians get anything out of this or not, I don't really care. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The possible coalition that I have going doesn't really mind, and I've already gotten Brandenburg as a subject. There is a mission that you can complete right afterwards, once you have all the stuff that Brandenburg's supposed to have. Don't click this until you're ready to actually go after Saxony, because this CB only lasts for 10 years. So if you have a massive coalition or a truce with Saxony, just hold off. It's not worth rushing, but also make sure you improve relations beforehand, because what this mission does is it gives you a decision that can flip Brandenburg into a personal union, which, since you're an elector, he's an elector, it's definitely worth holding on to, because you can't exactly use the other electorship at the moment, but you could in the future. The thing is that you don't want to make him a personal union with an old ruler before you improve the relations, just in case. So just improve relations before you click it no matter what. With that being done, though, I need to fight the Ottomans, and then I'll bring you guys back when it's time to talk some more. See you then. And welcome back. As you can see, the Ottomans have been pushed out of the northern Balkans, and on top of that, I've taken some cores to release Albania, Byzantium, as well as Bulgaria once I'm done integrating Wallachia, which will allow me to push them all the way out of Europe, but also be able to give me some toehold into Anatolia, which will let me start smacking them there. And I do strongly recommend you lean into this diplomatic annexation strategy with Bohemia. The reason why is that in your mission tree, you get 15% diplomatic annexation cost reduction. This matters because it's capped at 80%. But you can get quite a bit otherwise. You can get through influence and quality, not only if you pick up innovative, strong units, like a lot of infantry combat ability, but you pick up another 25% here, so you have 40. Those two together give you another 10, so 50. You then get another 5% here, so 55%. If you're Catholic, you get another 10%, so 65%, and then you have this to give you that maximum of 80. Meaning, since it's only 8 diplo points per development point to diplomatically annex somebody, you are rapidly spreading across the map without anybody to stop you. It's basically you're spending just as much points in diplo points as you are admin once you have max absolutism, and you're just eating things. Oh, I did the math wrong. Sorry, because I added this twice. The other one is in administrative, which gives you another 15%. Sorry about that. But you also want to take administrative because this will eventually give you cheaper coring cost anyway once you are at the point of using admin instead, allowing you to use both of these points to really quickly expand without anything really able to stop you. Since your size should be this, because even if you don't get the Burgundian inheritance, which you usually should, you're able to eat through Austria really quickly with just a couple of vassals, and then start getting Burgundian cores back. That's if Austria gets it, or if France gets it. Because as long as you can get to a Burgundian core, and if you have to break your alliance with France to do this, do it, you're able to get all of this back. Once you're at that point, you're going to be able to find people that are going to be willing to be vassalized pretty easily, because you're just too large for them to ignore, HRE or not. If you want to destroy the HRE at this point, go for it, because no one can actually get into it without having to go through you, which means you can just slowly eat your way through the German lands at your own convenience. As far as the Ottomans are concerned, once you push them out of Europe, if you want to keep expanding in that direction, they have major cores in Karaman, and then you have Syria down here, you have other ones throughout. You can find them. They're not overly difficult to find, but at this point, there are several people. A very good one up here is Crimea, because it'll get you around here, and then you can get into Golden Horde Great Horde territory, allowing you to rapidly expand in that direction. But do be aware that there are a bunch of other of these options to expand elsewhere, like Champagne. Those cores don't expire in my game until for another 50 years. You have 150 years from the game starts. Same with Toulouse, same with Gascony. They stay for a long time, if not permanently in some cases. Then you have Aragon over here, which is still around for another 100 years on top of that, because they were around for a very long time. And this isn't even the right culture. Down here, they'll expire faster, but I still have 20 more years just to get Sicily. So if I want to fight Spain, I have a very easy way to fight Spain. So use this release attack and move forward from there. If you're having problems with aggressive expansion, pick an ally, let's say Brunswick, feed him the land of Brandenburg. Then when you vassalize Brandenburg, you can reconquer that land, and it's only 25% of the aggressive expansion you would normally get, as opposed to conquering the land or vassalizing them in full yourself. So that helps you avoid potential coalitions if you're worried about them. Though, again, you should be large enough where coalitions are generally going to be afraid to form and will largely ignore you, even if you are Hussite. The last thing I want to point out is, again, when it comes to the Reformation, you're not going to be able to become the emperor unless you can somehow swing it in a way where it's going to force a religious peace. And that means if you are Hussite, you're not really going to be able to get down here. If you stayed Catholic or if you go in Protestant, you're more possible able to do this, but obviously it's going to depend on a great deal of luck, because you're allowing if you don't allow the Reformation to really go through and you're Catholic, it's a lot easier. I mean, a lot easier. But at this point, no one's going to stop you. No one can realistically stop me at this point. The Ottomans are supposedly higher. They're not. They're about to drop below me. But yeah, Spain, they're not really going to be able to stop me. Muscovy, they can't form. Russia, because I do recommend you do this. Take Moscow from them before they hit tech level 10 in admin, and you're bricking Muscovy forever. They'll never be able to form Russia, which means they'll never get Siberia, which means they'll never get a lot of money, so they won't be able to afford a large army to actually be able to fight you. So just by taking one province, you stop them, and just like everybody else, should be able to find that they have a bunch of Novgorodian cores, even this late, just hanging around. Same with Finland and Sweden and everyone else. You should be more than capable of finding quick ways to rapidly expand using Diplo power. But with that, that's all you guys really need to know. I hope this helps you guys out, and if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. I will be making a lot more guides, but have a great day.